Hello there. In our previous videos, we've seen how to trigger a pop-up using a text, an image, or an HTML button anywhere within your post or page of your website. In this video, we'll be seeing how you can trigger this model pop-up or maybe any call to action that you create using ConvertPro through a widget inserted through the Elementor page builder. So say I have this page created using the Elementor page builder and I have a button that says show pop-up. I wish to show a pop-up when the user clicks on this button. This can be done using two ways. One, by using a unique ID, and two, by using a unique class name. So let us go ahead and see method 1. I edit this page with Elementor. I'll click over the button to open the button settings. You see the page has just scrolled down because I have added a link here. I do not have to add another ID, so say I just remove it and keep it as simple hash. And then moving on to a first method, that is by using an ID. I'll need to insert a unique ID here. So let me say my ID would be market tips. And I'll copy this ID. Now let us move on to a ConvertPro interface. I wish to show this pop-up when the user clicks on the button on this page. So let me quickly move on to the configuration settings of my pop-up. I'll disable the other triggers if they are active and then enable the on-click trigger. We see a field wherein we can enter an ID or a class name. So since we are using the first method using an ID, we need to enter an ID here. But this has to be prefixed with a hash. So I enter the ID as hash market tips. So I have added the ID here. Let me go ahead and save my pop-up and publish it. Make sure you save all the changes that you make in a pop-up. And you need to be careful to see that it is published. Now moving on to our page. I'll update the page. I have added the ID already. And let's see how the page looks now. So I have the same button. And now when I click over the button, my pop-up appears. So this was how you could trigger a pop-up using a button widget of the Elementor page builder. We've done this using the ID. Moving on to our next method using the class name. Let me edit the page again in Elementor. I'll click over the button again. And since we have this action enabled, you can see the pop-up here. So let me quickly remove it. And I open the settings. I move on to the advanced tab. And then you find a field that says CSS classes. So this is where you need to add a unique class name, a class name that you wish to use for the specific pop-up to trigger. So here I add a class name, say market123. I'll copy the class name and now move on to a ConvertPro editor. In our previous step, we've seen how we can trigger it using an ID. You can add multiple IDs or class names separated using commas over here. But for now, let me just show you a single way. Since I wish to add a class name, I need to prefix it with a dot. So I add the class name as dot market123 and save it. The pop-up is already published. Let us move on to our page. I'll update the page and view it in the front end. Now if we click on the button, the pop-up appears again. So this was the second method that we saw using the class name. You can trigger ConvertPro pop-ups using various widgets of the Elementor page builder. You can either use the ID or the class name as I just showed you. So this was all for the video. In the future videos, we'll be seeing how you can trigger such pop-ups using elements or buttons insert it through various page builders, and also through a menu item. So see you in the next video. Take care.